Well,
Flanders?
no, we were watching, like I said, the first Sideshow Bob episode, and of course, who's the preacher? What's his name? Lovejoy. Reverend Lovejoy is on there.
Yes.
Reverend Lovejoy. I mean, he's full on into his Southern Baptist televangelist.
Oh, right.
You know, burning the pile of crusty paraphernalia, and he's like, why does he sound like that? I'm like, let me tell you about televangelists. And
oh man,
anyway,
that's right.
Yeesh,
it's good times.
Yep. Did you know Greg?
I do know Greg. I know a few Gregs. These are the Gregs I know. And sorry.
Oh,
wow.
Canadian humor right there.
That's right.
There is Hasbro recently released a new Optimus Prime figure. And I
didn't know that, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah, you shouldn't be surprised. They release a new Optimus Prime figure probably twice a year. Yeah. But this one, he's a kind of larger scale one, and he has the trailer with him.
Cool.
Yeah. And they're doing a repaint of him.
Okay.
That they are referring to as sleep mode. And he is all in grayscale. So it's dead Optimus Prime. And he has they even sculpted a new head for him where it's all like his head's all banged up and his like face mask is cracked and stuff like
you
that.
Have that pre-ordered, I assume.
You know what? I haven't seen it up for pre-order yet.
Okay.
You know what's weird is Hasbro, I don't believe has officially announced it yet, but samples have started getting leaked, and like I've seen people reviewing it on YouTube already. So prototypes are slipping out of factories, but I don't think Hasbro's even officially announced it yet. So it's very weird, but
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, dead Optimus Prime toy. So,
well, he wasn't dead.
Well, he was. They just brought him back.
Sleeping. I feel like that movie had some confusing messages, though.
Yeah,
because what's his name there blew up, and they brought him back to life.
Ultra Magnus. Yeah, that's true.
Not Optimus Prime. Blew up.
Yeah, he was. He was in multiple pieces. Prime.
Yeah,
multiple pieces. Oh, it's a Junkion Engineering.
Yeah, was able to. If only they'd had some Junkions around to save Optimus.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, poor Brawn.
Everything.
Poor little Brawn.
Yeah.
He got shot in the shoulder, and that killed him.
That's true.
Which that doesn't necessarily seem like a fatal wound.
God, that movie was good.
Well, of course it was.
You know what movie wasn't good? Because we haven't started the show yet. But
any of the live action ones?
So the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies, the first 3 hit Netflix up here.
The 90s ones.
The 80s. 90, 91, and 90 whatever.
I think the first one might be 89, but
I was 90.
Wrong. Was it 90? Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's 90.
Okay.
And we all know the first one's great.
Of course.
We all know the third one's garbage.
Of course.
I had not seen the second one since it came out.
The second one is garbage too.
Good.
No.
Yeah, it's and you know what? I think what skewed my opinion of it is I haven't seen it since it came out. I remember not thinking it was great when it came out.
Same here.
The soundtrack for that movie is fantastic.
Well, that's what everyone's just like, oh man, Secret of the... Well, first of all, it's got a great subtitle.
Yeah.
And it's got Ninja Rap, and everyone's just like, oh man, that's the one with Vanilla Ice. It's awesome. Ninja Rap, go Ninja. And it's just like, yeah, name anything else from that movie that's good.
Well, there
isn't any.
But the soundtrack in general, the whole soundtrack is fantastic.
Okay.
And like I've got it on vinyl, and it's always been one of my favorites. Like
it's
not just I'm actually don't really care for Ninja Rap, but everything else on there.
Don't care for Ninja Rap.
That's right.
But
man, I'm watching it, and I know
everyone likes
care for Ninja Rap.
Everyone likes Ninja Rap, ironically. Nobody actually.
I don't even like it. I guess what I'm saying is I don't even like it ironically.
Right.
But sorry, there's somebody in the channel. Hi, Greg. I'm Greg. See, there you go. But anyway, they had a bigger budget for the second movie.
Oh yeah,
and I'd gotten over the fact that Judith Hoag, that's how you say her last name, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't April in the second movie.
Right.
Although I found like that the lady who played April in the second movie was completely forgettable.
Yeah, big downgrade on April.
But yeah, watching it. It's like, oh my God, this looks like it went straight to video. It's got that weird, it doesn't have a cinematic look to it.
No.
It looks like something that was was filmed for television.
Yeah.
Like I'd forgotten how bad it was.
Yeah, no, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's a terrible movie, and like I said, everyone remembers it being awesome because they all ironically love Ninja Rap. But like you can point at the first movie and you can, oh man, remember when April was down in the subway and Raph jumps out and saves her. Oh man, the whole farmhouse scene was awesome. Remember how cool Casey Jones, there's a million scenes that you can remember from the first movie as being awesome. Remember when Raphael said, damn.
It was very gritty and cinematic.
Yes.
And the second one feels like an episode, an episode of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Of course it does.
Like it just looks like a bunch of people running around in suits that aren't quite, even though the suits were apparently better the second time around, didn't look it at all.
You got poor David Warner holding a Bart Simpson glass right up to the camera to be, hey, be sure to watch The Simpsons. I'm noted actor David Warner. This is what I'm doing with my life these days.
Anyway. Just thought I'd get that out because I knew I could have that conversation with you.
Yes, absolutely.
Because ever since I've watched it, I'm like, all I've been thinking about is I got to talk to Phil about this. Like,
and third movie, even worse.
Oh, you know what? I've never seen all of it.
Oh, really?
Saw a bit of it, hated it, and
I didn't see that one in the theater. I saw the first two theatrically. Didn't bother with the third one theatrically because I was too old for that stuff. Wow. I went through. Can you believe I went through a phase where I
thought you were too old for that stuff?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I stopped buying Lego. I stopped buying Transformers.
It's crazy. By the way, are you hearing any kind of distortion on Phil's track here?
No.
Or is it coming through clear?
It's coming through clear.
There you go.
All right.
Maybe the problem's you.
And maybe the problem is me.
Perk up your ears, Johnston.
Quite possible.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, we could talk about Ninja Turtles. Let's just turn this into a Ninja Turtles.
Why even do the intro?
Let's talk about Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
You want me to do the intro now?
No.
Why even do it?
Why talk about these Michael Bay produced Turtles movies?
No. You know what? I haven't seen any of those.
You know what? I've actually seen both of them. First one, not good. First one's not good. And I went into them. I went into them skeptical because how could you not?
How could you not be?
How could you not? Because, not that Michael Bay directed them, but he produced them, which again, means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
The producer means nothing. The first one's not good. The designs are terrible. We all know that. The looks of the turtles are terrible.
Mm-hmm.
First one, pretty bad. It's got like a scene or two where you're just like, oh man, if they had like done the whole movie like this, it would have been pretty great. It also has a weird, you can tell they rewrote like half the movie as they were filming it. Yeah. Well, because do you want the story? Do you want a little quick story?
I'm never gonna watch them,
Originally, what's his name? What's the
Shredder?
Actor's name? No, there is, he's the guy, he was in, freaking Dark Knight Returns, or what is it? This is just the Dark Knight, the Christopher Nolan movie. He's like the bank manager at the beginning of the movie. I forget the actor's name.
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about, but yes, I couldn't tell you his name, but he's been in a million things.
Yeah, exactly. He plays like kind of the sleazy business bad guy in the Turtle movie.
Person he plays all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the big twist was that he was Shredder.
Okay.
He was going to be
That's
Shredder.
a weird choice for Shredder. Okay.
It's a weird choice for Shredder. The character name vaguely, I forget what his character's name was, but it vaguely sounds like Oroku Saki if you like whitened it up. If you turned it in, from a Japanese name into a white dude's name and kind of.
I was going to say, was it like Donna Chang from Seinfeld? I'm Donna Chang.
I think it was like, and maybe Eric something like Eric Sakinski or something. I don't know. I don't know, but they took Oroku Saki and turned it into a white dude's name, and that was going to be the big twist. It was like, oh, the evil businessman is, and of course fans found out about this and they were like, what the hell are you whitewashing the Shredder, for crying out loud?
That's pretty bad. So
they quickly cast some random Japanese actor. I don't even know. He might have just been a stuntman or something. But they just have him like in a couple scenes that are completely divorced from the
guy
rest
behind
of the movie.
guy.
Yeah. And it's just like, and you can tell that those scenes were not in the movie originally. It's really bad.
Do Eastman and Laird still have like control over
one of them
stuff, right?
One of them does.
One of them got hired back, right? It was in the Toys That Made Us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know I saw it, but
yeah. The second live action movie, while not good, was actually kind of fun though. Okay. Because they went, whereas the first movie, they were trying to be like serious about it. The second movie was like, screw it. Here's Bebop and Rocksteady. Here's Krang. And
like
he's
they should have done in the second movie back in the 90s.
And it's not, it's, I mean, it's again, not good, but it's fun. If you're a Turtle fan, it's fun. They got, what's his name? Medea.
Vanilla Ice?
No. The Medea movies.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
Tyler Perry?
Tyler Perry. Yeah, Tyler Perry's playing Baxter Stockman in it.
Nice.
And he's doing like full, like kind of cartoon caricature, nerdy scientist kind of guy. And it works. So
that was funny because, of course, being the big nerd that I am, as soon as I finished watching Turtles 2, I went to IMDb and realized that one of the biggest issues with that movie is they wanted to make it like the cartoon.
Yeah.
Because the cartoon was popular. But they didn't want it to be the cartoon. Yeah. So that's why instead of course, Bebop and Rocksteady, you get Taka and Razar.
Right.
And who suck.
Right.
And the mad scientist, but the scientist is basically Baxter Stockman.
Right.
But he's not.
But he's not. Yeah.
And there's a whole subplot that I didn't realize, but he was supposed to be like a Krang character.
Who
there was
the scientist?
Because the whole idea is the ooze was actually supposed to be engineered by an alien race called the Utrons or whatever.
Yeah,
whatever Krang was based on.
That's from the old comics.
Yeah, from the old comics. So that was because and if you watch the movie knowing that, there's a whole scene in there where Donatello has a conversation with Splinter where he says, "I really thought our existence meant something."
Right.
I can't believe it was random, because the whole story is that it was just random. It was a random mix of chemicals that they had to dispose of, and that was it. It didn't mean anything. And if you watch the movie realizing that there was actually supposed to be a scene at the end where you find out that the doctor is actually an Utron, you said?
I believe, yeah. I think an Utron
he's an android that has an Utron in his abdomen.
So David Warner's character.
Yeah, so he's not. Okay. It wasn't a mistake. The company that he works for, I forget what it was called.
TCRI.
TCRI was actually supposed to be called something else. It was
or maybe TGRI.
That's what it's called now, but I think it was supposed to be TCRI, and it was a front for the Utrons to test this ooze.
Okay.
On mutagen. So then you look at that scene, it's like, oh, it did mean something.
Okay.
This was all on purpose. So anyway. There you go. This has been the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze hour.
Real quick, I think it's Secret of the Ooze, though, that does have one line that is fantastic, where I think Raphael's been captured, and the other three are sneaking around, and they're like,
oh, where they're doing like the rolls and behind the cover.
It's quiet.
Yes, that is a
little too quiet, and then like, hey, it's Raph. A little too Raph. I was like, that's a good line. Yeah. That's a good gag.
Yeah.
But on the whole, that movie's trash.
It's terrible. But yeah, there's that whole subplot that they took out because, again, they wanted to be the cartoon, but they didn't want it to be to the cartoon.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
That's dumb. Have fun with it.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, CJ, you want to start the show? You're going to keep all this, right? This has been gold.
Yeah. This is we just recorded our after show.
Let's do this week. Let's do this. That was our cold open. Now let's do the intro.
Okay. Hello and welcome to episode 709 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, June 9th, 2020. I am your host, Chris Johnston, and with me from Canada, as always, Mr. Greg Seward.
Hello and good evening.
Good evening to you, sir. And joining me from the great state of Washington, Mr. Phil Theobald.
On the half shell, they're the heroes for. In this
Oh,
day and age, who could ask for more? The crime wave is high with muggins mysterious. All police and detectives are furious because they can't find the source of this lethally evil force. This is serious, so get me a quarter. I was a witness, get me a reporter. Call April O'Neil in on this case, and you better hurry up. There's no time to waste. There goes my wife, like quick on the double. Have pity on the city, man, it's in trouble.
Have pity on your wife.
I know she just gave me a thumbs up. You married a man who knows the lyrics to Turtle Power, my dear.
I feel like that's pretty low on the list.
That is a heavy sigh she just made.
I feel like when Dana hears the sentence "You married a man who,"
yeah, there's never a good
turtle rap is pretty low on the list.
There's never a good follow up. There's never a good follow up to that.
No.
Oh boy, man.
So I mean, since we did all that turtle talk, let's just jump into video game news.
What do you mean?
All right.
Are you actually leaving all that in the intro?
You better.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, why not?
Oh man.
There's chapters in this podcast. People can skip it if they like.
Yeah.
If they remember that we have chapters. Let's talk about this Game Gear Micro thing.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
So last week, there was some tech journalist said that Sega had some kind of announcement that was going to be huge. Yes. And I don't think it was the Game Gear Micro.
Huge.
I don't think they were referring to a Game Gear Micro, but
Sega Cloud,
the
fog gaming thing for the arcade.
Yeah, which I really don't understand what the idea is there, really. But okay,
it's because it's not something that affects you at all.
No, but the Game Gear Micro is the more interesting of the two announcements, I suppose. Yeah. So Sega is releasing a Game Gear Micro, 4 units of different colors, and they also have different game lineups.
Yeah.
You get 4 games on each of them, and it's about $50 for one of these things, and it comes out in October in Japan. No date yet for the US, but I will say I am not interested in purchasing the Game Gear Micro at all.
Either. I am not either.
Not in that form. No.
I'm
not actually. I probably wouldn't be interested in purchasing a Game Gear Micro anyway, just because I'm not a Game Gear fan, but not in that form.
Here's the thing that's baffling about this is, why is it so small?
I think because it's not meant to be.
It's a novelty.
Yeah, I think
it's a novelty. Like it is like a keychain thing. Like it's not supposed to be played.
Yeah,
right.
It seems.
But it's weird because they've put games on there that clearly need to be played. Like there's a whole Megami Tensei one, isn't there? Basically,
and a bunch of RPGs like Shining Force.
Yeah,
a bunch of those.
Speaking of which, I want to throw this out there. So we were talking earlier. So the screen on this thing is just over 1 square inch.
Yeah.
No, it's a 1-inch diagonal display.
That's okay. Right. Sorry, 1 inch diagonal.
Just over 1 inch diagonal.
So I think it's about a third of the size, or
super tiny.
It's small. It's smaller than the Game Gear. It's smaller than the Turbo Express, the original Turbo Express. And the reason I'm saying that is because, of course, a bunch of these have RPGs on them. So there's going to be text, and they're ROMs of games that were meant to be played on a TV screen. Correct. And I remember back when the Game Gear came out and they released the adapter that you could play Master System games on, people complaining that they couldn't play Phantasy Star, the Master System Phantasy Star, because the text was so small you couldn't read it. I think actually it was probably garbled as well because of the resolution of the screen. And I seem to remember people having the same complaint about the Newtopia games on the Turbo Express. And this screen's smaller.
Yeah.
So
like significantly smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be very playable even if you want to.
But it does have a headphone jack and a mono speaker. It charges over USB, but it can also run off of 2
It's only
AAA
the size of USB.
Like, yeah. I mean, it's
tiny.
It's 2 AAAs that it can run off.
2 AAAs, yeah.
I mean,
2 AAAs will fit in that thing?
That's the thing. I mean, it's
it's got to be the length of it.
you're gonna have a screen basically balanced on 2 AAA batteries.
Wow.
Yeah.
I am legitimately surprised.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's crazy.
Yeah. But there are 4 different colors.
I mean, it
and
looks nice.
Oh yeah, it looks
It
great.
looks-
It looks super cute. If it wasn't $50,
it's too small for my monstrous big boy hands.
Well, again, it is. It's meant as a novelty. It's like hey, look at this. Remember the Game Gear? I got one on my keychain.
Yeah. And it turns on. Look.
Look, you can see Sonic on there. Look, you can actually even play it, and you might play a level, and then you'll go, oh, that's neat, and you'll turn it off, and that's what it is.
So apparently the Game Boy Micro had a 2-inch screen diagonal.
Yes.
Okay.
So just thinking about the size of this thing.
And the Game Boy Micro was super tiny.
Oh, the Game Boy Micro is tiny.
Yeah, it was small enough that it was uncomfortable to play some games on it.
Yeah. But Sega is also offering, apparently, if you purchase all 4 of them, you get a little magnifying glass called the Big Window. That you can strap to the
Which I think is
Game
based
Gear.
on something similar that was released for the Game Gear.
Correct. Yeah, it's based on a real Game Gear accessory. So
I don't know if a lot of
I
people
guess
remember
that
that those things
playable?
existed. People who are as old as us remember getting one of those from a Game Boy back in the day too, like a Light Boy or something like that, which was a
they
magnifying
had
glass
all
plus a light.
Yep.
they had all sorts of things like that for the Game Gear.
When's the worm light coming back?
The worm light. I hated that thing.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I could never get it not
loved-
to glare.
Oh, really? See,
Yeah.
I had a worm light for my
Game Boy Color?
Or actually, did that come out for Game Boy Color or GBA?
Pretty sure it's Game Boy
GBA.
Color. No, I think there was one for Game
GBA.
Boy Color.
There might have been one,
Saying
but
Game Boy Color.
I remember using it for the GBA and having it not
And
work.
I had one for my
great.
Neo Geo Pocket Color as well. Or
Oh.
wait, no,
Mm,
because the Neo
no.
Geo had the back screen, didn't it?
No,
Did it? No.
no,
I don't
the
think
Neo
so.
Geo was not
No.
backlit.
Okay. Yeah, so I did have one for the Neo Geo. Yeah.
So,
look, I
are
just
you
found
planning
the
on
packaging
purchasing
for
the
it.
Game Gear Micro, Greg? Because you're the Sega fan here. You
No,
interested
I
at
don't think
all?
so because I do like I have been sort of collecting the mini consoles, but I
Yeah.
play them.
Right.
I get them
Right.
to play them. So I'll never play
what
this.
about a US
Even-
version of this? Like if they did like a North American version of the Game Gear Micro and made changes to it, like would there be any sort of configuration that you would be interested in?
Nah.
No.
I'm not a Game Gear fan. I mean, my love of Sega sort of starts with the Genesis and goes from there and the arcade games. I wasn't a big Master System fan, although I have gone back and checked out Master System games, and there is a lot of treasure there buried there if you take the time to look, especially into the stuff that was released in the UK, after we were kind of over the Master System here in North America. But no, I don't have really fond memories of the game. I was a Game Boy kid. As far as portable systems went, I was a Game Boy kid. And I think it's the same thing. The Game Gear does have some hidden gems, but they're definitely not shiny enough to play on a 1-inch screen. That's insane. Now if it came out with a bigger screen and a much bigger selection of games,
right,
I would probably consider it. But I mean, that's kind of the weird thing about getting into this whole mini console trend. Once you started getting into consoles that were designed to be small to begin with, the whole point of them was that they were portable. Now, to be fair, you look at some of those consoles and they were massive.
Small.
Yeah, the Game Gear wasn't
wasn't
big,
small.
but still, how much smaller can you get it and still make it playable? Like that's the key thing, right?
Yeah.
Because again, you look at the Game Boy Micro, and it's playable, but is it really? Like, if you're playing an action game or something, it's not the most comfortable way to play those games. So
it was a pretty good system at the time. It was a pretty good little novelty.
Oh, sure, I loved it. But that's exactly it. It was a novelty.
Yeah, certainly a novelty. An enjoyable novelty. I don't know about this one being an enjoyable novelty.
But that's the thing. If they were making this and it was at least the size of that, it would make more sense to me. But at the size it is now, I just don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have speculated that Nintendo is going to do a Game Boy Mini console.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think the fact that Sega went with this sort of keychain sized micro console is interesting, because if they made it any bigger, like, you have to sort of weigh the price and quality of games. Like, there's on the Game Gear anyway. I don't know if would people be interested in a larger version of this, or
I think that's the other thing too. I mean, when you look at this stuff, like you look at the consoles that have been miniaturized so far,
yeah,
and they were all pretty successful
Mm-hmm.
in one or two
yeah.
regions at least. And the Game Gear was successful in that it was second, but it was second by a long margin. Like,
Right.
Well, in
you know,
Japan especially, I think in the US it did a little better, didn't it?
well, like again, it was second
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
out
How
of
did it
the
second?
Game Boy, that and the Lynx.
How did the Game Gear do
second.
in like Brazil?
Probably did
Is that-
pretty well.
Because I know they love the Master System in Brazil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
So-
probably did pretty well, but I really don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering what sort of form a Game Boy Mini console would take. Like, you know, would they make it look like the brick Game Boy, or
I would
the Game
imagine.
Boy Color?
I would think
or
they'd go for the brick. Go
Yeah.
do you
full-on
sort of
nostalgia.
combine Game Boy Mini to mean GBA as well? Like,
Oh, I hope
and
not.
pull from all of those.
I really
different
hope
I
libraries?
think
not.
No.
I think you don't, just because you want to make sure that you've got something that you can release later.
Yeah.
Right. So would you stick then with just Game Boy black and white plus color, or just go black and white and have the screen just be a really, really sharp black and white screen?
I'd go with just black and white, and then next year do the color mini, and then do the advanced mini.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'd
could
buy
see
all
that
three
happening.
of those
Yeah.
probably.
Well, see,
Because
exactly.
like you were saying, I was a Game Boy kid, not a Game Gear
Would-
or Lynx kid.
Am I crazy for wanting an HDMI out on one of those?
No,
No, I'd want that too.
playing
Yeah.
Well,
playing
the
Game Boy
Analog
games.
Pocket is still supposed to be a thing, right?
Playing
You
Game
remember
Boy
the Analog
games on a
Pocket?
big screen is real nice.
Yeah.
If it's,
That's
I mean,
for sure.
those Konami collections have shown that,
Mhm.
right? Like if it's done well,
Yeah, that's true.
very attractive.
Yeah. You get the nice like dot matrix filter on there, so you
yeah.
can see all the individual squares and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty neat.
So
looking.
it's Game Boy like you remember it being,
yeah,
as
exactly.
opposed to what it actually was.
Can you turn on a blur filter?
I think you can.
Man.
I remember the Game Gear being pretty dang blurry too. When the
Oh,
few
yeah.
times that I was able to play Game Gear, I was like, oh,
The Nomad
Blurry.
had that same problem big
Yeah.
time, man. The original screen on the Nomad was Blur City.
Was it really?
Oh my god.
Ugh.
yeah. I remember that. I have a Nomad, but I haven't used it in a long time.
Really?
It's back there. I keep meaning to get a screen mod for it. I'd like to get a screen mod for that and for the Turbo Express, although I really struggle with the Turbo Express because that is by far my favorite portable system design.
Right.
And if you get a screen mod, normally it's a bigger screen, so they just cut the bezel.
Oh, really?
And
Oh,
it-
really?
I mean, it makes it much more playable because that is a very small screen.
Right.
Huh.
But it's like, I
Yeah, you're
really
kinda-
love the way this thing looks.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You need a second one to mod.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, you guys remember Kingdoms of Amalur,
Vaguely.
right? It was that game that Kurt Schilling funded, and then there was a whole rigmarole around that.
What's it called?
Kingdoms of
Rigmarole.
Amalur.
That sounds like, you know what Kingdoms of Amalur sounds like?
What's that?
I think
It
you're gonna tell
sounds
us.
it sounds like if you're watching a sitcom and the sitcom needs a fake MMO that like
No,
needs
like in
needs
Parks
Shark
and
to
Rec,
jump?
the board game that he comes up with the cones of Dunshire.
yeah, exactly. It's like the snotty teenage kid character on the show, like the parents. Oh, he's in there playing that Kingdoms of Amalur game that he's been playing for 2 weeks straight.
That's right.
Yeah. So this is a real game.
This is a real game. Yeah. Kingdoms
Okay.
of Amalur came out in the PS3 360 era.
Mm-hmm.
And it is coming out again from THQ Nordic, apparently. They're bringing it out as a remaster called the Re-Reckoning Edition.
Oh, dear.
Re-Reckoning. So,
Huh.
yeah, that apparently coming out in like August. And it wasn't actually announced. I don't think it's been announced officially yet. The way that it got revealed was there apparently was a Microsoft Store glitch or problem where it appeared on the store.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, by accident. So there you go.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Also appearing on the store, on the Microsoft Store, was the Namco the Namcot collections in volume 1 and 2,
Namcot.
apparently for the US market. So I'm very excited about that because it had not been announced for the US yet, and in Japan they had an announcement of Pac-Man Championship Edition, like a NES D-Make.
Yeah.
A Famicom D-Make for the Switch version. So apparently we're getting it, which is excellent news for sure.
I was this close to importing the Switch version.
Yeah.
So, which, would have guaranteed a US release, but
well, I guess we only really know about the Xbox version, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's got to be coming to
technically
Switch
on the
as well.
Microsoft Store.
But I would imagine.
I can't see it not coming to everything.
Yeah. So
I would imagine it comes.
Have we talked about this collection on the show?
I think we mentioned it. Yeah,
we definitely have.
Briefly.
Where it's not, where it's basically a hub. It's a free to start hub.
Yeah.
That you can download
in Japan. It's a free
in Japan
hub.
comes out. I'm actually looking at Amazon.co.jp. Comes out June 18th. They're getting a physical version as well.
Mm-hmm.
But if you download it from the eShop, it's just a hub. I think you get a game when you download the hub, and then you can start buying extra games as DLC. The retail version just comes with all the games. And it's only like $20 for all the games. But yeah, then there's the special secret game, which is the Champion Edition for Famicom, which is so cool.
Well, and there's also like a Famicom sequel to Gap Plus or something.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah,
so
this collection looks really neat though, because it has all that like kind of like collector or trophy type stuff where you get like all sorts of Namco memorabilia that you can use to decorate your virtual room with and stuff like that. But yeah, I hope we do get it for Switch, because I will definitely buy it.
I will be tempted.
Yeah,
be very tempted.
What's interesting is that at least the first batch of games is there's a lot of stuff that never came out in the US, which is why I originally
that would be why it was worth playing.
Yeah, I kind of figured, I was like, they probably won't bring this out here because it's like Family Jockey and Battle City, Star Raster, Wagon Land, just a lot of stuff that we've never seen.
That's true.
But
I think the US versions that leaked on the Microsoft Store left some of those games out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It'd be too bad if they did. But
yeah.
Just throw them in there. Don't translate them.
Yeah, exactly.
Oddities.
Yeah.
Although, man, River City Ransom collection, the Cuneo collection, I should say.
Yeah.
They went in like full bore with that, and
I just need to pick that up,
translating all those games and everything. So
The Last of Us Part 2 comes out in like 2 weeks, and The Verge did a story about the accessibility options in the game, which are pretty interesting. There's over 60 settings that you can tweak in the game, including like a high contrast vision mode, so that you can see NPCs that are friendly versus ones that are not. And you can change the color of the subtitles to make them more readable. You can add stuff like an audio navigation to the game as well, so that it gives you audio cues for the direction you should be moving in, as well as visual cues like in
turn left.
My son was he was watching Netflix, I think, and he happened to turn on the descriptions for visually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's
That's
done that
probably
a couple
exactly
of
what
times
it would
as well.
be. Yeah.
Yeah.
In 50
So you can
yards, turn right.
You can turn on an option to have the game read all of the text logs in the game. So normally, like in a game like The Last of Us, you
nice.
pick up a lot of letters or whatnot.
Right.
You can have the game read them to you now.
Now,
Just
when the game reads it to you, is it like just like text to speech, or is it like Ellie's
that I
Ellie
don't
reading it to
know.
you?
They don't.
I would
they don't say.
imagine. Well, I don't know. I mean, they've got lots of money. Maybe they had an actor read them all, but man, that would be a lot
That'd be
of text
cool.
for an actor to have to read through.
That'd be pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Because I mean,
But,
if they got like Ashley Johnson to just read all those logs, I'd turn that on.
Yeah. Same here. Yeah.
But only
So-
if all the logs were about Skelesier. That's all I care about. I want to know what
all you
Skelesier is
care
up
about.
to.
Let's get
in-
Let's
You
get
know-
Ellen Page to read them.
Oh,
Some of-
hey now.
Here's an interesting, like in the state of play a week ago. That was a week ago, right?
Mhm.
They had footage in one of the trailers of Ellie in an arcade again, and that's all I could
Oh.
think of was
Oh.
like,
Yeah.
I wonder if she's
Who
gonna run
knew
into the
that-
Skelesier.
Who knew that arcades were so
Game.
prevalent in the post-apocalyptic?
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Apparently they
Can't
are.
find one right now, but
Well,
you know.
at least the Left Behind, because didn't Left Behind kind of take place like early on in the?
It did. Yeah,
yeah, it was.
You're
it
right.
was- yeah, it was before she met Joel, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. But
God,
can
I
I
can't wait for Last of Us 2.
can I
That's gonna
be
good.
can I be mildly serious for a minute here?
Go ahead.
Be a
I gotta
first.
tell you, I love Last of Us.
Yes.
Adore Last of Us. One of my favorite games of all time.
Hmm.
I love Left Behind even more.
Mhm.
Right.
Really. And obviously, Last of Us 2, I've been super stoked for that game for years now.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, I am not as enthused about playing it at the moment based on world events. The world
Yeah.
kind of being crap at the moment, and all this negativity just bombarding me from every direction
Yeah.
kind of has me less enthused to play what is undoubtedly going to be kind of a very grim,
Yeah.
very unpleasant, very violent
Yeah.
game where terrible things are probably going to happen to characters that I like.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I want Last of Us 2, really do. I love that series, but at this exact moment in time, I'm just like, yeah, it's coming out, but I'm having a hard time kind of mustering up
Yeah.
the excitement that I should be feeling at this point.
It's funny because I know exactly what you mean. And to the point that like where I stream 3 nights a week and I run on a bit of a schedule, and one of the games that's kind of in the round right now is Halo, which really has nothing to do with anything that's going on,
Right.
but just the fact that it's so violent.
Right.
The night that I was going to be streaming it with everything that was happening, and again, it's not like there's been I don't know. It really doesn't feel like it's connected in any way, but all I could think of was I just don't want to go online tonight, and not only do I not want to play it, but I don't want to be broadcasting it.
Yeah.
And it just felt weird and wrong to me, and I couldn't even put my finger on it, but it was just like, you know what, screw it. We're going to play Animal Crossing. We're just
Right.
going to hang out and go fishing and
There you go.
relax.
I mean,
Like,
that's
oh my God.
a similar kind of thing where I think I mentioned this last week or the week before, where I'm slightly concerned about the tone of games that are going to be in the PlayStation 5 showcase, because
Yep.
just so many games in general, especially like big budget AAA, are sort of anchored in glorification of violence.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, and I agree with you coming from a place that I think that that's totally fine.
Sure.
Like I've
Yeah,
never
yeah.
had a big problem with that, but
Right.
it just
Me neither.
right now doesn't feel like the right
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I mean, obviously I'm going to buy it and
Yeah.
I'll play it just so we can talk about it on the show, but man, my
Your
the enthusiasm that I should feel is it just ain't there at the moment. So
Yeah,
I am right there with you. I already pre-bought it digitally, so I can't refund it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but like
and
Phil
not
was
that I
saying, I'm still
would.
gonna buy it.
Yeah.
I still
I'm
really want to play
gonna
it, and I'm
Right.
still assuming it's going to be really good based on the
Oh, yeah.
previous one. But
Yeah.
yeah, I totally see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
All right. So with that, let's get into what we've been playing. And I'll kick us off because I've been playing one of the most wholesome packages that you can get.
I got a wholesome package for you right here.
And that is
It's
Clubhouse
my copy
games.
of Clubhouse games
Clubhouse games
that I keep in my underwear.
51 worldwide classics.
Yeah, so don't forget the subtitle.
I won't. Gotta remember how many games are on there.
51.
Which I think actually it's 52 because piano counts as one in there as
What?
like a
Is it?
50-second thing. Yeah, I think maybe.
Really?
Anyway.
Hmm.
So anyway, yeah, a long time ago, the Nintendo DS, Nintendo released this game called Clubhouse Games, and it included many classic games in one package on the
Clubhouse
Nintendo
Games.
DS.
The
It was a Touch Generations game, was it not?
It was a Touch Generation. 42 games.
42
in
games
the original.
in that one.
Do you know Clubhouse Games is 15 years old?
Oh my
Holy
god!
crap!
So
Wow.
think about that.
Yeah, but it's one of the best little packages that Nintendo has put out on the DS, and I was overjoyed when they announced that they were doing a new version for the Switch.
Yeah.
And it's finally here, and I am enjoying the hell out of it.
Whoa.
Hey, just
Hell
settle
out of
down.
My
Okay.
goodness.
Listen, potty mouth. Just
Since I live on the West Coast, we had the game unlock at 9 p.m., which was excellent. Could start playing it right away.
Yep.
Went right to Hare and Hounds.
Hare.
I have not played that yet.
Have you not played Hare and Hounds? So
I was playing not Yahtzee recently.
I also played Yacht Dice.
Just before that, I was playing not Uno.
I believe you mean Last Card.
Yes.
But so yeah, Hare and Hounds is sort of a game of strategy where one player controls 3 hounds as they sort of make their way across the board, and one player, either the CPU or another person, controls the rabbit, the hare in the title. And the hare can move in any direction. Hounds can only move forward or along the same plane.
Okay.
And it's a pretty simple game. However, I lost a lot in the beginning. And since it was the first game I played and Charlotte was watching me play, she really wanted to play Hare and Hounds. And she really gets upset when she loses the game against the computer or against me. And since there are only so many places you can move, sometimes you can't avoid like either a win or making my daughter lose. She was very upset. So we started playing something else.
It's good. It's a good way to teach her that you can't always win.
I know. I mean, she watched me lose like 10 times in a row.
Yeah.
And I didn't get upset.
But
we had to learn about not getting upset when we lose.
Isn't it true about most games that they will usually end in a win state or a loss state?
Correct.
So this is not unique.
Yeah.
This is just every game.
When she was playing on her own, she started doing the whole pause the game and go to start over when you know that you've lost.
Your daughter is rage quitting.
You got to fix that
in Clubhouse Games.
She's rage quitting in Clubhouse Games. Yes,
you got to fix that. That's no good.
But as a family, we can play some games. They have like it's only a couple games that you can play as like 3 players on one system.
Well, so many of the, at least the card games, really call for not being able to see the other person's hand.
That's true too. Some of those you can still play with 2 players on one system, but the number of games that you can play with 3 or 4 on one system is very low, actually. But they do have Ludo on there, which some people may know as Sorry or Parcheesi. It's sort of a variation on that. And so we played a bunch of Ludo as well and had a lot of fun with that, actually. Because it subs in a computer player that seems to cheat, but it's still a pretty fun little game. We also played blackjack as a family, so you can play that with 3 players.
Oh,
so
man,
yes, my daughter,
gambling mechanics. Yeah.
my daughter learned how to play blackjack. Yes. Which then I played a little bit solo online.
Always double down
to see like how the online play worked in this. And you can pick between 1 and 3 games that you would like to play online, and it sort of will try to find people to play some of the more.
Are you making side bets with voice chat? So you,
hey, you want to make this voice chat? You can do voice chat with friends via the Nintendo Switch online app. But so one of the players
just telling everyone your PayPal account for where to drop your winnings.
One of the players in the lobby I was in, every single round kept betting the max bet of 100 chips and then immediately doubled down every single time. So they lost.
Swingers fan.
They had negative 900 in their bank at the end. It was very funny.
Oh man.
I'm sure some kid trying to play blackjack, but I wouldn't recommend that you try that in Vegas because that wouldn't work too well.
Oh man.
Plus, if he's a kid,
but I've also played a couple of the other games, like Slot Cars is pretty fun. It uses the analog stick as your accelerator. That's kind of fun. My daughter tried to play chess, or she's trying to learn chess. I have found that some of the games explain the rules pretty well, but there's usually a short video or like cutscene.
Those little videos at the beginning of the games are hilarious.
They're hilarious, yes. But for a game like chess or any of the games that have more complicated rules, they really don't try to explain very much of the game. So chess is a little bit hard, especially for like my daughter to grasp. Luckily, you can turn things on. You can turn like a helper mode on that sort of tells you where your selected piece can move on the board. So that's kind of nice to have. So my daughter and my wife were playing, and they neither of them know how to play chess. My daughter really wanted to play, so they turned on the guides, and it actually worked out pretty well for them. But yeah, trying some of the games that I've never heard of, like there's a card game called President that has some pretty obscure rules. It took me probably a half dozen games to actually get what was going on.
Really? I found President really easy to grasp, actually, because when I first played it, I was like, oh, okay, I don't really get this. But like within a round, I knew what was going on.
Well, it took me a couple of rounds. It took me a couple of games. Each game of President is like 4 rounds. So, but yeah, and the opening video does not explain President really that well. You have to kind of play your way through a game.
You do the tutorials after the videos, though, don't you?
I don't know.
CJ,
I wasn't doing that.
No wonder it took you a while to figure out what was going on. I love this. This is a classic CJ moment.
Yeah.
The games are kind of hard sometimes when you don't read the rules and understand how to play. I find the games difficult to play.
That's right. But I mean, luckily the game sort of guides you through, and you can turn on assistance, and it's pretty nice. It's a good package of games. I like that now, since I bought it digitally, I have it on my Switch everywhere. And, it's a nice sort of time waster.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I grabbed it, just because a little bit of pick up and play going there, and hopefully there'll be a few games that my kids will get into that we can play together.
Yeah. It's fun. I have not yet tried the multiple switch mosaic mode thing, which you can do on some of the games. You can set multiple screens together and play some of the games. I have not tried that yet, but I'll have to try that out since I do have multiple switches.
Well, la-di-da.
Anyway, I played Predator Hunting Grounds because I was able to convince my Sea of Thieves crew to purchase it well, because last week
treachery on the high seas.
PlayStation started their Days of Play promotion, which is a sale on PSN. But since Predator Hunting Grounds is a Sony published game, they put it on sale as well on the Epic Games Store. And right now, the Epic Games Store is having a summer sale kind of thing, where they're offering a $10 coupon on top of everything. So not only was Predator on sale, but you could also get a $10 coupon applied to it. So I was able to finally convince everyone to purchase Predator. So we played today, and it was a lot of fun. I, of course, had purchased the Dutch DLC, so I was able to play as Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he does say get to the chopper. Exactly. But that game is just a lot of fun, and they have made some good improvements to the gameplay there, and added daily and weekly challenges. So I continue to enjoy it, and I hope that they release a patch so that PS4 and PC gamers can play together in a party, which they have not done. It is a cross-play game in that PC players can play with PlayStation 4 players, but only through matchmaking, not through, like, you can't play with your PlayStation 4 friends or your PC friends on the other version. So hopefully that'll get patched in sometime soon. That'd be great. I've also been playing Sea of Thieves. Surprise, surprise. But last week they launched it on Steam.
So it's a whole new game.
It's a whole new game. My progress, of course, carries over because you do have to log in with an Xbox, like a Microsoft ID. But you play it on Steam and get Steam achievements and trading cards and all that good stuff as well. So I've been playing the Steam version since I did receive a code for the Steam version because I'm one of the insider program testers. And tested out the Steam version. So I got a free code for the final Steam release. So been playing that. And of course, it's the same game on Steam.
Yes.
But with a couple of the interface things not having to use Xbox Live. It's through an in-game menu instead. So, but the game is doing very well on Steam. They hit their high number of concurrent users today. Actually, like 41,000 concurrent players. So it's doing quite well. Apparently, it's the second most popular Microsoft release on Steam, next to Halo: The Master Chief Collection. That's pretty cool.
Well, all right then.
And that's all I've been playing. So I'll hand off to Greg.
I played a lot this week. Want to say, though, one of the things that we did do this weekend, and actually I think it's just ending as we're recording this, and I mentioned previous week that we, as the Maritime Extra Life Guild, we put together a relay stream this weekend to try to help offset the fact that the IWK Telethon, which raises money for the local children's hospital, had to be canceled this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which, when you consider that they usually raise about $1 million every year, it's a bit of a blow to the hospital. So that's what we did. And when my kids found out that I was signed up to do that for about 5 hours yesterday, they all wanted to take part. So that was pretty cool. I got to stream with my kids for 5 hours. My youngest played Minecraft for about an hour, and my son and my oldest daughter played Fortnite for a couple of hours, and then we all played Minecraft Dungeons for the remainder of the time. And it was actually also being helped out by Ryan Bossman, who actually is our tenant right now, he and his wife, and he's an extra lifer from Ontario. They've just moved here in the last few months. So we ended up raising, I think during our 5 hour stint, we ended up raising a little over $600.
Nice.
And the last I checked, I think the numbers for the overall weekend was at about $2,000. So it was pretty successful. I was really happy. And one of the things that we got to do as well, something that I've wanting to do forever, the local iRacing event coordinator who's kind of kept racing going here in the Maritimes while everything's been shut down. A lot of those the racing drivers around the Maritimes have been jumping into iRacing, and he's been organizing it anyway. We reached out to him, and he put together a 3-race event that we also ran last night, which was also super cool. I was so happy to see that happen because, again, the IWK partners with the local Pro Stock series to run an event every summer to raise money as well. And that hasn't been canceled yet, but it's kind of up in the air right now. So to be able to do that as well, and for those drivers to be able to help out by making donations to get to run and things like that was really cool to see. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who helped and everybody who donated with that. And of course, again, I got to raise money with my kids. So I was really, really happy about that.
Nice.
As for what I've been playing, man, I played a lot of stuff this week. So I played Clubhouse games. I also have been meaning to talk about this for a while. There was a game that came out a few weeks back called Pong Quest.
Yes.
From Atari. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So have either of you played this at all?
No, I have not.
So it is literally it's like not a turn-based RPG, but it's sort of a traditional RPG where you wander around sort of an overhead area, getting into random battles, but the battles are matches of Pong. And it's just as weird as it sounds. But it's not bad.
Yeah.
Like, so the way that it works is you pick up power-ups that you can sort of enact while you're playing a battle, while you're playing a battle of Pong. And so the way it works is you have a life bar. Your opponent has a life bar. You have hit points. Every time you successfully hit the ball back, you take damage because the ball hits you. And then if you get down to, and if you allow the ball past you, but you still have a lot of hit points, it just you take more damage. But when you get down to a critical point, which is you're beneath a certain threshold on your hit points, if the ball gets past you, then you lose the battle.
Okay.
So that's really it. But you can activate different power-ups so that the ball will like curve or bounce or have gravity affect it. Or also there's like a potion ball so that you activate that so that when you actually hit the ball with your paddle, it heals you a little bit. It's actually got a lot of depth to it for more than I expected. But it is very much a, run around. Okay, you're in like a 12-room dungeon. There's 4 different treasures you need to find to go do that, and you're going to have a bunch of fights along the way. So, but it's not bad. And especially from the standpoint of how do you make an RPG out of Pong? It's kind of cool to experience and realize that it's actually pretty clever. So, and I know that it just came out on consoles as well. I believe it's on Switch. I don't know what other consoles. I think it might be PS4 and maybe even Xbox. But I
think
played
it's
it on
on everything at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, I played it on Steam, and I had a code provided to me. So just so you know, I don't know how much it costs, but I can't imagine that it costs that much. But definitely worth checking out. The other thing I did this week is I busted out the VR helmet for the PlayStation 4. Now that I've got the wheel set up there, I've been playing a lot of iRacing and playing Gran Turismo Sport with some of our listeners as well every couple of weeks. I've been meaning to play Dirt Rally, in VR mode. So I ended up doing that. That was incredible. It's really, really well done, and I have not felt so sick in quite a while playing. And I don't normally get sick. I think the last time I got sick playing a VR game was actually Gran Turismo Sport.
Oh, really?
I don't know what it is. It looks great. It feels great, but it's kind of that thing where, like, especially in a rally game where, there's a lot of dips and jumps and just very uneven roads. So everything's constantly shaking around you. And those forces aren't being enacted on your body.
Right.
But your brain kind of expects it to be.
Yeah.
So, like, there was one point I remember I'm playing it, and it's like one of the things that you're doing, like what you do when you drive a car too, is if you're in a tight turn, like you're turning right, but you're looking where you're going to go, which is one of the wonderful things about playing a racing game in VR, because that's naturally how you should drive anyway. Right. Look where you're going to go. But it messes with your head so badly. And then when I was sort of feeling woozy just about halfway through the stage I was playing, and then there was one point where I really hit a dip, and like it was a sharp dip and then a quick incline right after it, and like you're expecting to feel like the compression, like your whole body get pushed down into the seat, which of course didn't happen. And that was the point where I'm like, I'm gonna be sick. Like, I don't feel very well. And I had only played one stage, which is about 4 minutes long, and I took the VR headset off, and I was just drenched in sweat.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, okay, I got to put this away. I need to go to bed right now. And so I didn't get physically sick, but I did have to put it away. So unfortunately, yet another racing game in VR that I couldn't handle. And I don't get to play racing games in VR, I guess. But what I did do is, because I also had busted out the VR headset, is that I finally fired up the Ironman VR Demo.
Oh, nice.
Has either of you tried this?
I downloaded it yet. I downloaded it, but had not yet tried it.
It is so good.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Nice.
And I kind of had worries there as well, because I mean, it's first person. You have full 360-degree movement, up, down, left, right, forward, backwards, all that fun stuff. And I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be another, vomit fest.
Right.
And it was I get a little lightheaded at first, but actually, I don't know what it is, but it feels okay. And it reminds me a lot of Resident Evil 7, where, when you played that, you had it so that you could, when you turned, you can jump like 45 degrees with a button press, rather than just slowly turning the world using an analog stick. You're using 2 move controllers with this. And to turn, I mean, you can turn your head and you can swivel your body. It absolutely will let you do that, although it wants you to be mostly facing the camera, because that's where all the tracking paraphernalia is on that helmet, right? On the face set, on the headset. So it actually will tell you, like, if you turn too far away from the camera, it'll actually bring arrows that'll guide your head back to the camera. But you use the top left and the top right buttons on the 2 move controllers to jump, and you can adjust how far the jump is, 45 degrees or whatever, but you still have some guidance moving your head down, up, and that sort of thing. Like if you face down and you're thrusting forward, you will thrust down a little bit. But yeah, otherwise you're controlling it just like you would expect Iron Man. Everything is based on the palm of your hands. So like if you want to thrust up, you're literally putting your hands down to the point that the move controllers will be pointing straight out and pressing the triggers, and that is like you thrusting up. And if you want to thrust forward, you make it so that the palms of your hands are pointed behind you, and that's how you thrust forward, and things like that. And then if you want to use your repulsor rays, you just hold out your hand, and the little move button on the move controllers, you just tap that, and that's how you fire the repulsor ray. So that's like the extent of. You can also use a punch, which I wasn't using, probably should have used. That's the extent of it. And the demo is 1 training level where you fly around, so it gets you very used to flying right from the start, and you're kind of going to know right away whether you're going to be able to handle this or not, which is a nice touch. And then I think it's the first chapter of the game where you're in Tony Stark's jet and it gets attacked. And you end up, it's a very Iron Man moment where your suit gets sucked out the hole in the side of the plane. So of course you undo your seatbelt and you go flying out. So the first part of the level is you falling to the earth, and then the gauntlet incoming. So you hold your hand up, and like one gauntlet hits and it all forms over your hand, and then you hold the other hand up and that sort of thing. And
that's cool.
The helmet hits you. But then you're into the actual gameplay, and it's really, really playable, like way more than I expected it to be. Because when I was playing the flight demo at the beginning, I was like, okay, this is good, but I feel like I have to be so deliberate that I'm not sure that this is going to translate to a good shooter, right?
Right.
I feel a little overwhelmed. And but then by about halfway through that first level, man, I was getting the hang of it. And it's like, the readout is telling me exactly where everything is. And I wasn't really losing my bearings, which was fantastic. And of course, it's doing a lot of it for you. Like you're around the plane, and the plane is crashing, but it's not asking you to keep up with it. Like once you're in the vicinity, you're kind of matching its speed. So any adjustments you make is actually changing your position relative to the plane, not you. If you decide to just thrust straight up, the plane's not going to keep going. And now you're like a mile behind it, right? So yeah, I mean, you can probably tell by how much I'm talking about it, but I played it today, and I just really, it's a great demo. It really runs you through, like lets you put it through the paces, and it had me sold. Like about halfway through that first level, I'm like, I'm buying this. This is a must buy for me. So
nice.
Cool.
Yeah, I highly recommend it if you have access to it. Phil, I know you do.
Yeah.
Go try it.
Yeah, like I said, I downloaded the demo, and I've had it pre-purchased for a few months now, so I'll definitely be getting it when it comes out. So
yeah. Mr. Young in the chat is asking if you can play seated. You could probably play seated, but I mean, you are doing a lot of twisting back and forth, because even though you can turn, or it wants you to turn using the buttons, I mean, you still need to track things, right? So you still got to move around a lot. And to do the forward thrust and the upward thrust, you kind of want to put your hands down to your side. So if you're not in a chair that would allow you to do that, it might be a little tough. But I don't know, if you're in like like one of these chairs, like a swivel, like an office swivel chair, it might work. It might work. I didn't try
the
it.
PSVR, the camera has to be able to see the move controllers too. So if you're seated and then also putting your arms down,
yes,
might be a little difficult.
That's a good point. Yep. Which is also, I guess, why they wouldn't want you to turn away from the camera too much, because you'd be hiding one of your controllers.
Does Tony Stark fight crime sitting down? Come on.
Actually, and that's one of the things I think that I was really happy about, because when you first think of it, like Iron Man, when he's flying, he's prone, right, and it's like, well, this is going to feel weird, but it doesn't. I mean, you're literally standing up the whole time, so if you really want to visualize it, you feel kind of silly.
Can you like lie down on your coffee table? Maybe do some planking while you play.
Lie down on your coffee table, and you can let me know how that goes.
If you you know what, you want to sit down, go get a Spider-Man game. You can be the man in the chair, swiveling around, going from computer to computer.
Or you could just go get Star Trek.
Oh,
there you go.
Which we still haven't finished yet, CJ.
I finished it.
I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't.
Man.
And I got a few other fun things this week that I'll talk about real quick. One of the things is I can stream PSP games now.
Oh, really?
I finally, well, I mean, I have a PSP 1000, which is the one that, of course, doesn't use the video cables that you could get. So interesting. But I've got a pretty decent PSP library that I really want to stream, and I looked into emulation, and I don't like emulating that stuff because it never runs very well.
True.
At least for me. So I wanted to skip that, and then I looked at like trying to hack my PlayStation TV, and I knew that was well beyond any ability I had. So I went on to eBay, and it's like, well, 2000s and 3000s, they're sort of in high demand and everybody wants them, so they were a little bit expensive. And then it's like, wait a minute, I'm going to check out Amazon Japan. And they were like, I wouldn't say significantly cheaper, but they were cheaper enough that I was like, yep, that's what I'm going to do. And like within a week, I had my new PSP 3000, and it's this pretty green one.
Ooh, that's nice.
Of course, you're buying it used from Japan, which if anyone hasn't yet, if you buy used electronics or really used anything out of Japan, it's almost always in pristine condition.
Very pristine, yeah.
Like it's ridiculously well kept.
Yeah.
So super excited about that. One of the other things that I ended up getting was the Neo Geo Mini was $30 in the US last week, so I grabbed one of those.
Oh, damn!
I grab one of those.
Nice.
I haven't played a ton of this yet. I don't have a mini HDMI. I think it's mini that it needs. I think it's a mini. Yep, mini HDMI connection. So I haven't tried it on TV yet. I have. The screen is really nice. One thing I will say, this didn't come with the extra controller, so I'm not able to play anything multiplayer yet. I will say about this, though, man, there's a lot of Metal Slug games on here. Man, there's a lot of King of Fighters games on here.
No, wait. Are you saying there's a lot of Metal Slug as though it's a bad thing?
I'm just saying that it's kind of overwhelming, the amount of Metal Slug that's on here.
Well, there's probably 5? I guess maybe 6.
I've turned this on.
They probably have 2 and
X
on there.
Yeah.
I
haven't played it enough yet to really see, but I mean, like, both King of Monsters, both King of Monsters are on there. I think all the King of Fighters are on there. Most of the King of Fighters are on there, the early ones.
Yeah.
I will say, though, as far as my experience with this so far, I can't get used to the button layout at all. The buttons seem mapped wrong to me.
Really?
Like when I'm playing, when I'm playing like Metal Slug, I think like, this is fire. The top button is fire, and I forget which one of these is jump, but it feels backwards.
Interesting.
And the other thing, when you're playing just on the screen, I can't find a happy volume control because the volume control is all done in the system. There's no volume knob anywhere on this thing. And I think it's only got like 4 settings, and the middle set, like 0 is off. I think it's 4. I don't remember. The top setting is way too loud. And then like there's 2 other settings, and one of them is still like really too loud. and the one underneath that is so low you almost can't hear it.
Oh.
So I'm not crazy impressed by that just yet, but I haven't spent a lot of time with it. But the other thing that I got this week is, of course, my TurboGrafx Mini.
Very
which
good.
I think is misnamed completely. That is not a Mini. Holy God.
It is technically
I know,
smaller than a TurboGrafx 16.
I know we
Technically.
talked about this before, but I was not ready for
This
how
is the
big
real
this
Mini.
thing is.
The real Mini. Yeah.
Like, that's the Genesis Mini, just to compare it.
Yeah.
That's great.
And
Yeah.
what's
Yeah,
bumming
that's
me
not
out
Mini.
is like my mini consoles are up on a shelf.
Mm-hmm.
This will not fit.
Yeah.
This thing's so big that it barely fit. Even if you lay it down properly, the other ones I have propped up, if you lay this down properly, it hangs over the edge of the shelf.
That's amazing.
So yeah. And one thing that I will say too, and I know you talked about this, Phil, like the connectors on the back, you can run the cable, the USB cable, straight out the back or off to the side, and they've got these little clips on them, which for somebody like me who connects and disconnects the system fairly frequently, I hate it.
Oh, right.
I really hate it.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I spent most of the day playing around with this. It's cool. I'm not sure I'm crazy about all the game selections on there. I'm not sure why we needed the English and Japanese versions of Newtopia 1 and 2. And
Yeah. Why not Bonk? Bonk 1 not being in English is
Japanese.
Weird.
I know. It's weird to me.
Yeah.
But there's some cool stuff on there. I mean, the Gradius stuff, that's great. And the Spriggan games seem really cool. There's a lot of good shooters on there. R-Type, having Newtopia, having Eastbook 1 and 2. I think I'm a little less excited about it just because I don't have the nostalgia for TurboGrafx games that, I do for Genesis games.
Yeah. Me too. But I mean, I always wanted a TurboGrafx, and to me, it's almost like just it's a gap in my gaming knowledge.
Sure.
The Turbo entirely. So like booting it up, it's almost like having a brand new like retro system with great games.
There's definitely a lot to discover on there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong, but there's some that as well. And I know that there was some really bad stuff on the Genesis Mini and I guess maybe the Super Nintendo. I don't even remember, but the Genesis Mini as well. But there is some true garbage on here too. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Like that Moto Rotor game.
Oh yeah.
Dear Lord, that's awful. But anyway, and JJ and Jeff does not hold up.
No.
JJ, I don't know. I haven't tried back then, but it's not good now. So
JJ and Jeff wasn't even really that good back then.
No.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's probably, as far as the interface goes, is probably my favorite one.
Yeah.
Like all the little PC engines running around, and when you turn on the game, how the cartridge goes in, or if it's CD game, you hear the CD spinning up and everything. It's really a lot of really nice touches every now and then. And the Turbo Express screen is a nice touch, completely unplayable, but it's very cool.
Yeah.
To see. Overall though, really nice system. Really nice game collection for the most part, but some weird choices. Yeah, like the Japanese version of Bonk, that's weird. But still pretty sweet. So I mean, I played a lot of stuff this week. Really had some games going. You know what else I played? And I didn't put this on the list, but I also, when I ordered that thing, the PSP, I ended up grabbing one of those handheld DDR controllers we were talking about.
Oh nice.
Because again, cheaper to buy it through Amazon Japan than it was to get it on eBay.
Yeah.
So, and I was just thinking, like, man, I miss playing those games, and I'd love to have a way to do it without pulling out the dance mat. So I grabbed that. It's pretty neat. Although kind of bummed it doesn't light up.
It doesn't light up.
Don't light up. Yeah. I don't know why that would matter, but I just kind of bummed it doesn't.
Probably, I mean, there's no power going through.
No, there isn't.
The controller port. No. That's why.
Still a bummer, though.
It is a bummer. Like you posted a picture of that on Twitter, and I hadn't remembered the official Konami ones until you posted that picture. And the one that I have was like an unlicensed.
It's like a little pad. One. Yeah, it looks like a little DDR pad.
It looks like a dance pad, whereas the one you have looks like two dance pads with a controller shell over it.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Hand grips.
Yeah, I looked for the one that you have, and they're real hard to find.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Huh.
And I think the ones I did find were too expensive. So
Yep.
but
crazy.
yeah, that's all I've been playing this week.
What PSP games do you have?
Oh man, I've got lots.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go look up a list if you want.
What are you looking forward to playing on stream? Like, what was there a game that like precipitated you buying a PSP so that you could stream them?
Well, I mean, not one in particular, because we've talked about it before. The PSP library is really good. I think it's one of the most underrated console libraries as far as I'm concerned, just because I think a lot of people either don't remember it or they didn't take advantage of it.
Right.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, I've got a decent number of games for the system. And I wanted to be able to let people, because people who donate to Extra Life on my stream, they get to choose games that I play in the future. And I wanted to add to those games. But I mean, like, you know, I've got like the Castlevania Dracula X Chronicles.
Nice.
Really looking forward to playing Crisis Core, the Dissidia games, the Final Fantasy 1 and 2 remakes were beautiful on that system.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Right. Final Fantasy Tactics, Final Fantasy 4 Complete, Gitaru Man Lives.
Yep.
Is on there. I've never really put a lot of time into the Gran Turismo game on the PSP. I kind of like to get into that. There's like Wipeout Pulse and Wipeout Pure. I've got those. Tactics Ogre, Let Us Cling Together, Space Invaders Extreme, Soul Calibur, the Metal Gear Acid and Metal Gear Portable Ops.
And Ridge Racer.
Racer, the Patapon games.
Oh yeah.
Outrun 2006. I mean, I've got a good collection. Mega Man Powered Up, Mega Man Maverick Hunter, Lunar Silver Star, Harmony, which I actually really enjoyed, even though it had terrible load times.
Sure.
So yeah, there's lots of stuff on there that I really am looking forward to playing and streaming for people. So yeah,
cool.
Man, Mega Man Powered Up is so good. I wish there was a way to play that.
I would say probably that's the one out of all of them that precipitated me wanting to be able to, you know, I mean, I have a big collection, but that's the one that they didn't re-release anywhere else.
Right.
But I don't think did they even release it digitally.
No, they didn't.
So you couldn't like download it to your Vita or your PlayStation TV and play it that way. So
yeah, Maverick Hunter X got a digital release, but Powered Up didn't.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's lots of stuff there.
Alrighty, Phil.
Yeah.
What have you been playing?
Not a whole lot this week. I did play Clubhouse games. I picked up that. Played a handful of things. I tried more of the kind of gimmicky stuff in Clubhouse games. I certainly played like the bowling game because I love digital bowling. So I was playing that one with it's got the motion controls that you might expect.
How does it compare though to like Wii Sports? I've heard it's a lot more simplistic than Wii Sports.
It does seem a bit more simplistic, certainly, but I mean it's bowling.
Okay.
You go like this and the ball rolls down and you try and knock down the pins. I don't know how much more complicated you need it to be. Did you mess around with the darts at all?
I didn't. No.
Darts is actually a lot of fun. It uses it requires you to use the Joy-Cons.
You can use a touchscreen as well.
Okay, you can use a touchscreen, but I
Joy-Con. Okay.
I very rarely have my Switch undocked. So so I play most of my stuff with the Pro controller. But yeah, there are some games that require, if you are playing it docked, you have to detach the Joy-Cons and play with it that way. The way you use it though, you get your Joy-Con out and you hold it kind of sideways, kind of long ways, as though it were a dart. And you as you're holding it between your two fingers, you hold down one of the buttons that kind of tells the game that you are, you got the dart in the ready position, and then you kind of aim and you can see the little cursor on the screen where you're aiming it, and then you pull your arm back and do a little throwing motion. Don't release the Joy-Con, you goof.
Don't really let go.
Don't lob a Joy-Con like a dart at your TV screen. But you do the little, you don't have to let go of the button. You're supposed to still hold the buttons, but you do the little arm motion, and depending on how quickly and how straight your throw is, the dart hits the screen and it's really fun. And then the computer takes their turn. I was having a blast, and I got a couple double bullseyes. So I was pretty proud of myself. That is just, how the bullseye on a dartboard.
Is that when you split the first dart with the second dart?
Yes.
The double
Yeah, you Robin Hood it. Yeah. Now that is, the bullseye on a dartboard has like kind of like, there's like an outer circle and an inner circle.
Yeah.
So if you get it in the outer circle, that's
it's
bullseye. If you get it in the
20, it's worth less points, isn't it? Fewer
20,
points.
25 and 50, I believe.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
So if you get it in the outer ring of the bullseye, it's 25 points. If you get it in the center ring, that is a double bullseye, which is worth 50. So there was that, and it was interesting because you play, I want to say like maybe 5 rounds or something, where you're throwing. Is it 3 darts? 2 or 3 darts? I think it's 3. I think you get to throw 3 darts per round, and I think it's 5 rounds. And I noticed that, like, when I started off, obviously I was doing quite poorly, like for the first round or 2, just because I was still getting used to the mechanics and, how much force I should put behind my throw and stuff like that. But it seems like it's got some rubber banding on the computer AI, because at first the computer was doing significantly better than I was, and then as I started getting better and was landing bullseyes and double bullseyes, I would suddenly find myself like, wow, I'm several dozen points away or ahead of the computer, and then like the next round it's like double bullseye, single bull, suddenly the computer got a lot better too. But yeah, it's really fun. So yeah, it's a neat little game. So I'm enjoying that. The other thing I picked up this week, in addition to downloading that Ironman demo I haven't played yet, was a new Minecraft add-on came out called Minecraft Pac-Man. And this is an official Namco thing. It's like a new game mode, basically, which is something that you've been able to do in Minecraft. You can buy different kind of mini games that you play within the Minecraft shell.
Now here's a question for you, Phil, because I saw this and was very interested in it.
Yes.
Because I do occasionally play Minecraft with my daughter. Most of it is me following around, looking at the various things that she's created, which is great fun. But so the Pac-Man thing is in there. Can I play as like a Pac-Man player model in or outside of the Pac-Man mode?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
There are
because
multiple.
I would totally want to do that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. there are multiple different skins. Is the term you're looking for?
Yes.
You start off with the Pac-Man skin, and I think it's the character from Pac and Pal. That Pac-Man, Pac and Pal, that old game that nobody ever actually played in the 80s, but shows up on like every Pac-Man collection. You've played this game, right? Greg is shaking his head.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Namco released a game back in early 80s called Pac and Pal, or Pac in Pal, with like Ghouls and Ghosts type quotation marks there. But it's it's a Pac-Man variant where
a variant
you're going
of
through a
Super
maze.
Pac-Man.
Yeah, and there's a little green blob creature who has a name. I don't remember what it is.
With a little bow on its head?
Yes.
Which I only know that from looking at the pictures. I've never heard of this.
Yeah, and that little character is an AI character that kind of freely roams around the maze, and it's on your side.
Okay.
So it'll, like, I think it collects things and brings them to you or something. It's not a very good game.
Okay.
And like I said, I had never heard of it back in the day. I never saw it in any of the arcades when I was a kid, but it shows up on like Namco collections, or if they do like, oh, here's half a dozen Pac-Man games in this special collection, and there's always Pac and Pal in there, and everyone's just like, what is that? Right. But then you can unlock like Super Pac-Man is an unlockable skin, Professor Pac-Man which is from another rarely seen 80s Pac-Man game. It was like a little like trivia game that came out in arcades, which I actually played back in the day. From what I understand, there was only a couple hundred units of Professor Pac-Man created back in the day, but one happened to show up in the Aladdin's Castle at my mall.
Well, was Namco based in Chicago as well? Wasn't everything based in Chicago at one point?
Probably.
I don't know if
they probably had
Namco
an
was.
office.
Konami was
Probably
there.
Konami
Midway
had
was
there.
there.
Midway, of
Data East
course,
was there. I think.
I don't remember Namco being in Chicago, but maybe. But whatever the case is, so you start off this Minecraft Pac-Man, and you get dropped into just a big room, and it's decorated to kind of look like, Pac-Man themed.
Okay.
And right in front of you, there is a Pac-Man arcade machine, and you go up to it, and you can flip through like various maps, and they're all locked. But there's a tutorial, so you got to do the tutorial map. So you go in, and it drops you down into the maze, but it's Minecraft, so it's all first person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's a game of Pac-Man. You are playing
first person, like baseball.
First person, yeah. It's like, it's first person Pac-Man. And what they did, because first person Pac-Man played straight. Like if you just had first person Pac-Man, it's kind of a survival horror game. I mean, really, because you're in you're in a narrow little maze with just sharp right corners, and there are monsters roaming around, and you don't know where they are. Like if you're actually playing first person, you would have no idea where the ghosts are.
No.
So what they did to compensate for that is, the wall of the mazes, they're high enough where you can't see over them, but they have little triangles floating that point down to where the ghosts are. So if one is coming like around the corner, you'll see like, oh, here comes a red triangle.
Okay.
Or if you kind of tilt your viewpoint up and look at the ceiling, the ceiling has a version of the maze that looks like the old arcade game.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And it mirrors the action that's actually happening.
Cool.
So if you look straight up, you can see the little Pac-Man sprite right above your head, but you can also kind of glance out in the distance and be like, oh, there's Inky coming towards me. And that also helps you out because obviously, the goal is to eat all the dots. And if
you can see where the dots are,
you can see where, it's like, oh, I got to run over to this corner of the maze because that's where there's a chunk of dots that I missed over there.
That's cool.
And it plays the same way. You got the power pellets and there's fruit power-ups for points. It did introduce, there's a fifth ghost who is named Creepy, who he's a creeper. I mean, he looks like a ghost, but he's green and he's got the creeper face.
Nice.
And if he gets too close to you, he'll start hissing and explode. And of course, if you're too close, when he explodes, you die. But also when he explodes, he will destroy the area of maze that's around him as well. So he can affect the maze. But once you clear all the dots, then you get dumped out into the lobby, and you there's a Pac-Man themed pickaxe that has suddenly appeared there. So you collect that, and then you can use that pickaxe to open up a couple doors on either side of the lobby. And it's really cute because as you chop down the walls with the pickaxe, when the walls are destroyed, they kind of explode into like the screen 256 kind of
nice.
Garbage glitchy
nice
bit numbers and letters and stuff. Yeah. So then it opens up a section where you can go in and create your own mazes. And it's a very simple kind of, you design your maze by putting down different blocks and stuff, and then you can play those and share them with your friends. And then you can there's another room that opens up more like kind of a Pac-Man themed Minecraft world where, and I haven't really done much in there yet because you have to find keys to open doors that I haven't really figured out yet.
Okay.
But then you can start playing different mazes, and earning points. And as you earn more points by playing the different mazes, you can unlock different kind of power-up items. You can unlock the new mazes. You can unlock the new skins. I don't know if you can eventually unlock those skins to use in outside themes like you were asking about, CJ, but
Okay.
hopefully, I mean, they
That'd be
made the
nice.
skins. It'd be kind of dumb to confine them to just this game, but it's really fun. It's a really cute little add-on mode for it, and I think it was like $10.
It's 1,300 mine coins.
Yeah, see, that's
I don't have 1,300 mine coins. I
Yeah.
have 1,000 mine coins, and I'm like, because Minecraft came with 1,000 mine coins, and
okay.
I don't know what we're talking about anymore.
Now I wanted to purchase the Pac-Man thing. I was like, oh, how much is it? 1,300? So now I have to buy another pack of mine coins.
Yeah, Microsoft does that thing. It's like the V-Bucks in Fortnite.
Yeah,
where everything is mine coins.
Soft currency.
I had no idea.
Or hard currency.
Yeah. And it's and of course it's all offset, so it's like
is this on the Xbox version?
Well, it's on all the versions.
No, but it's on the Xbox version too?
Yes.
Yes. My kid plays that 2 or 3 times a week. I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, and what's
you don't I mean, you could play regular bog standard Minecraft and never even see that stuff.
Well, that's exactly
Use
it.
the coins
I've never seen it
for various skins and modifications and such. Like if you want to
like if you want to get the Adventure Time map or whatever they have.
Yeah.
I think $10 gets you maybe like 1,700 mine coins or something like that. So it's
okay.
I don't think it's it's probably about 10 months. It's probably technically a little less.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, here on Amazon, $10 gets you one. So stupid. This stupid little fake currency is. It gets you 1,720 coins.
Oh my god!
So, and of course, nothing actually costs 1,720 coins.
No, of course
so
not.
You're gonna
have extra.
You're gonna spend your $10. Let's just, just tell yourself the Pac-Man thing costs $10.
Exactly.
And and then you'll end up, and you'll have a couple hundred mine coins left over, and let them sit there until some other cool thing comes out, or buy a random skin pack or something. But yeah, so $10 will get you the Pac-Man thing.
Cool.
And it's it's pretty fun. So
that's cool.
Yeah, that's really about all I've been playing.
All right, that means it's time for tweets.
Tweet.
All right, let's do this one from hacker alias Bobby Bialo, who says, do you guys use save states? Playing the TurboGrafx 16 Mini has been very enjoyable for me due to the option to use save states. I no longer have the time or patience to see the credits of most shooters. Finally, I was able to experience the end of Lords of Thunder.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Without question.
Why wouldn't I?
Absolutely would use that. Yes, completely. Yep.
Am I cheating myself? Am I cheating the game? Absolutely.
Who gives a shit?
But also, who gives a shit?
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
I have no problem with that. I use that on all of the micro consoles and on the Nintendo Switch Online, NES, and Super NES.
And I'm also willing to openly admit that it's partially because I don't have the time to get better at games, and also partially because I know I won't get that good.
Right.
And I don't care.
Yep.
I am fine with that. Yes. All right. Let's do this one from Martez3C, who says, I always loved SNES 7-Up Cool Spot 1993. Do you know any references of food, not beverage companies that have been involved in the development or been protagonists of a video game?
Whoa.
What's your favorite?
So we can't count. We're not counting beverages.
Apparently not. So what about McDonald's Treasureland Adventure?
Sneak King?
Yeah, you got McDonald's Treasureland Adventure. You got Mick and Mac, the Global Gladiators.
Well, but they weren't. I mean, that was ostensibly a McDonald's game, but Mick and Mac weren't like McDonald's characters.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess not. Well, anyway, we got the Burger King
Yeah,
games,
you got
Big
yeah,
Bumpin', Pocket Racer,
Yes.
and Sneak King.
Sneak King, the good one.
What about
Yeah.
Yonoid?
Yonoid.
Yep,
Yeah.
the Domino's pizza game.
Was Yonoid a different game that was given
it
a
was
Domino's
indeed, yeah.
pizza
It was.
skin?
It was like a ninja game or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know he said no beverages, but there was a Kool-Aid Man game
For the Atari
Right.
2600.
2600 and in
That's right.
television.
There was Chase the Chuck Wagon.
Yeah,
on the
for 2600. If we're counting dog food as food.
Dog food.
which-
Food,
It's a
that's
food.
food.
It's food.
Why not?
Why
Yeah.
not? Yeah.
What other? I
I
mean,
mean, Burger
sure there's-
Time. Yeah, the enemies that were hot dogs.
Yeah, but
well,
what's that? That's not. I mean, I know we're
do
not supposed to
in-
say beverages, but Tapper was originally a Budweiser game.
Oh,
That's true.
Tapper, root beer. Yeah, Tapper and root beer Tapper.
yeah, the original. Yeah, the
Pepsi
original.
Man.
Yeah, but again,
Pepsi
we're
Man.
talking beverages.
Pepsi Man. Yeah.
There were those Doritos games.
There's a
I
lot
mean,
of those
You didn't
games.
actually play as a Dorito, but there was that. There was a Sour Patch Kids game
Was there?
Really?
for it was like an Xbox game. Yeah, like in the I want to say it was for the 360. Let me look here.
I don't remember
Sour
that.
Patch Kids Xbox, and I remember
Reskin of Hexic.
no, it was like a platformer kind of thing.
Oh,
And
That's how
World
weird this thing.
World Gone Sour for PS3 and Xbox 360. And I remember the game had a narrator, and it was Creed from The Office.
Nice.
what?
Yes,
Creed
that's
from The
fantastic.
Office.
yes, he was the narrator of this Sour Patch Kids game.
That's
That
amazing.
makes all kinds of sense.
Yeah,
I
and yeah,
like
there-
that. I
yeah.
like that.
World Gone Sour is the name of that one. Chexquest just got
Yeah,
a
right. Limited
a-
Run just released that.
On
Yeah, just-
Steam.
it's out. It's you can get it for free on Steam.
So was that something
actually.
you could get
What-
out of checks back in the day? That's
Yes. You bought a box of Chex cereal, and it would come with a CD-ROM that I
Those were the
believe
days.
had some hours for AOL on it, but also
Naturally.
Chexquest, the first-person shooter Chex game.
What about the KFC, the Colonel dating game thing that came out on Steam?
That's on
a
Steam.
while
Yeah,
that's
the
creepy.
So apparently there are a lot of food related.
yeah, really. It's not that uncommon, even if you don't talk about
Yeah.
beverages. Oh, what was that? There was some GameCube game that was like secretly a Skittles game.
Oh yes, I don't think it was a Skittles game by the end of it, but yes,
But it
I know
was
exactly what
supposed to
you're
be?
talking about. It was like some kind of magic game.
Yeah, it was like some kind of. It looked like a generic fantasy game,
yeah,
but like the power ups were like Skittles.
darkened sky.
Dark and Sky. That's it. Did you remember that, or did chat?
No, I looked it up.
Okay.
Uh,
There were a couple Chester Cheetah games.
One of the spells is
Right,
taste
yes.
the
there
rainbow.
was Chester Cheetah.
There were a couple Chester Cheetah games. There was that canceled NES game.
Fido Dido game. There was
Fido,
that.
Fido Dido was not food based.
No.
He was 7-Up's mascot.
He was
Well,
a
he
7-Up.
was, but it's
he-
not.
He didn't start as 7-Up's mascot, though. I don't
No.
believe.
Oh, didn't he? Okay.
I don't
No,
think so.
no.
There was that canceled California Raisins game that Capcom
right.
created
for
for
the
the
NES.
NES. Yeah. And what was the? There were some M&M games for like GBA and crap. You know what?
yeah.
There was a over in Japan, and I actually imported this game. There was a game based on Yoshinoya.
Oh, right.
Yoshinoya is it's a chain of like
Beef
fast
bowl.
food beef bowl restaurants.
Nice.
And there used to be one. I mean, it's primarily a Japan chain.
Yeah.
There was one in San Francisco. I remember, like,
There were a couple locations in the Bay Area. I think.
really, and then they all closed down. I think shortly after we ended up moving there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I imported the Yoshinoya game. It was a PS2 game, and it was like you were an employee at one of the restaurants, and you had to like
Make the food.
I think yeah, it's like what was that mobile game? Diner Dash?
Yeah.
Is that the one? I think it was kind of like Diner Dash,
Okay.
except you're serving beef bowl. But yeah, these weird licensed food games. It's pretty great. I'm for it. I want more weird licensed food games.
I would like that as well. There was a McDonald's promo thing for the PS2, I think, that was Parappa.
Yes, I have that as well.
Yeah,
that only yeah, I do. It only came out in Japan.
Yes.
It
was
was
a demo disc, but it's like the first level of Parappa, but it's McDonald's themed.
Well, first level of Parappa 2.
Parappa 2, that's right.
Which you'll recall was set in a burger joint.
And also not good.
Not good. This is what I'm talking about.
The burger joint level is the only memorable stage.
Parappa 2 is not good. It might be less memorable than the original game.
It's less of a game than Jammer Lammy was.
Yeah.
If you count Jammer Lammy as a sequel to Parappa,
which of course,
and then Parappa 2, the next game, it is not.
It's not. No, it's not as good. It is certainly it is the least of that trilogy, but it's not a bad game. Come on. But yeah, that it was called the I want to say that
disagree.
Happy Disc.
Yes,
Happy Disc.
You're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
CJ's digging in at the end there. We'll agree to disagree.
I know, right? yeah. Oh man. I mean, it's better than Sea of Thieves.
Well,
but
not even close. Not even close.
Oh man. But yeah, I think it was called the Happy Disc, and it had like you got it at a McDonald's restaurant, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And it had the first level of Parappa 2, but the burger joint in the game was reskinned to look like a McDonald's, and it had a Ape Escape demo on there as well.
Yep.
That had some sort of like McDonald's stuff.
Catching the Fry Kids. Oh, Phil just froze. That's a funny look on his face, though.
This is becoming a weekly thing where Phil freezes up for a little bit. His internet becomes unstable. There we go. He's back.
Oh, but I just stabilize. There we go. Okay, I'm back. And now it tells me my internet connection's unstable. Well, not anymore. It's not. Look, I got a lot of stuff I got to download. I'm preparing.
Yeah.
It's been a long 3 months.
But yeah. Anyway, there you go. What else? What's our next
I think
one?
We've answered that tweet.
We've answered we did an extensive degree. Much more extensively than I thought.
We like dumb license stuff. Come on.
It was probably needed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. I think we should do one more tweet.
Okay.
One more. Right?
This better be good, CJ. Usually when you say one more, it's like the crap.
Better be good. Better be good. Let's do this one then.
He doesn't have one.
Yeah.
Hackeralia's Earthbound G-Man, who says, we all have those crazy backlogs. If time/responsibilities were no longer a factor, what are the top 3 games that you would tackle first from your respective collections?
That's a tough question.
Yeah,
that is
really.
A tough question.
CJ going for the hard ones.
Talking hundreds here.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't know what it would be, but if time was not an issue, I would tackle like an RPG of some kind.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean,
I was gonna say like not Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest. I would do. Dragon Quest games.
That
would be great.
Dragon Quest would be fun.
I haven't really seriously played a Dragon Quest game since probably 8.
Really?
Yeah.
And the DS ones, I hardly touched at all.
Right.
So
I always feel like I hardly get into that. Like I play them for like 15 hours, and I feel like I should be further along than I am.
Yeah.
I'd have to say probably Sour Patch Kids, World Gone Sour, Doritos Crash Course.
Yeah.
And and yeah, finally finish up Chexquest.
I would, legitimate answer, now that they've all been translated, I would find the time to play all 3 chapters of Shining Force 3.
Oh, okay.
Because I never even played through the one that was translated, but now the other 2 have got fan translations.
Actually, You know what's
So I would
one
find
that
the time to do that.
you know what's one that I've been wanting to play, and certainly would sit down is Crusader Essenti for Genesis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good game. We played like 5 hours of that last year in the Extra Life stream, and I was enjoying every second of
Oh,
it.
really? Yeah, I get it.
Just it looks like it's a Zelda clone, but it's really not. It just
really?
looks like it is,
Huh.
but it's just like delightfully odd
Yeah.
and fun,
Huh.
So yeah.
Okay. Man. Yeah, say I need to play that sometime.
Yep. All right.
Yep.
Good final tweet.
Not bad, CJ.
He tells
See?
himself.
See?
Yeah.
I
did it,
right.
fellas.
I did it.
I did a good job this time, right, guys?
Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1 Podcast on the Twitters, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You'll find blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Greg Seward.
There's one up there recently about Road Rash.
Yes.
And working on a new one fairly soon. Got a couple other things I want to do first.
Cool. You'll find Generation 16 episodes.
Yeah, I got about 10 minutes left in the rough edit of the current
Nice.
episode, so we're getting really close.
Very, very nice. You will also find show notes and links to everything that we talked about in this episode. In there as well, you'll find links to things like Greg Seward's streams. There, you'll find that there. Link there in every
Monday,
show
Tuesday,
note.
and Thursday nights.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and you'll find a link to our Discord server where you can discuss this episode or other video games or really anything at all with us and our other listeners.
If you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by loading up your favorite podcast application. You can also catch us on Stitcher Radio. We're on Spotify. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch old video episodes of our show and catch us live most weeks on the youtubes.com.
Nope.
Just let him finish. He doesn't know.
That's true.
/P1 Podcast. Follow our Twitter account. Oh, yep. That's what's happening. Did I freeze?
Yep.
What? There it is. Did I freeze? I froze.
Yes.
I froze.
But if you got through your whole spiel, that's fine. Just keep going.
I didn't
Yeah.
because I was like, wait, what do I not know? And then I figured out I was freezing. Okay. YouTube, friends. YouTubes.com/P1 Podcast. Follow our Twitter accounts at P1 Podcast to find out when we are broadcasting our next live show. It's usually Sunday nights, 5:30 Pacific time. Join us then, won't you please? If you've liked what you've heard, and how could you? You can head over to patreon.com/P1 Podcast. Throw a few shekels our way because reasons. Greg
we need
needs
to fix
a big
Phil's internet.
We need to fix my internet.
I need
Greg,
a bigger shelf for my
Greg
TurboGrafx.
needs a bigger shelf. That's where I was going with that. Hey, if you have a couple bucks left over, head over to generation-16.com where you'll find the Patreon link to help support Greg Sears Outstanding. And it is outstanding. Web series about North America's favorite runner-up, the Sega Genesis.
Thank you, Phil. And remember, if you go over there, I charge patrons by the episode, not by the month.
By the episode.
And there hasn't been an episode in 5 months. So think of all the money you're saving.
Whoa.
You'd be wasting money by not subscribing to this Patreon. So please go have some fun there. Hey, and you know what? If you're a $5 supporter of the Player One Podcast Patreon, you are. Cheap. It is cheap.
Oh.
You gain access to a special top secret bonus after show every single week. Don't tell your friends. Certainly don't tell your mom. She will get mad.
As we proved last week, we don't like money.
That's We play games, we tell jokes, we crack wise, we have all sorts of fun. The Player One Podcast After Show. Join us, won't you? And of course, to celebrate the pandemic, CJ has been putting up old Huh?
Like celebrate's not the right word.
Celebrate
there,
definitely is not the right word.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever.
Commemorate.
Whatever. Come back. Yeah, that's better.
That's better. Clearly,
That's better.
No.
No. If you wanna taste of what our Patreon after shows are, CJ now with modern day references. Did I freeze up again?
You did.
whatever you said
But
was
you're back.
hilarious. Keep going.
Yeah, it was great. It was really funny. I don't know why this is farting on me, but whatever. We're almost done. But yeah, join us, won't you, CJ?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
Sure thing.
Mhm.
Gregory.
Yo.
Thank you as well.
Thank you, Philip.
And of course, thank you to all of our wonderful, wonderful listeners, every one of you. Please be kind, be safe, be clean, be healthy, happy, and wise. And we'll catch all of y'all on the next week's.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.